as an offense, we needed a spark, something to kind of go our way, and so I decided to put Jalen in the game.
Jalen Hurts is in and stays in.
Do you think you should be the starter?
A lot of these things are outside of my control.
Did you think you should have gotten a chance before today?
Anything that can help this team.
The move has been made for now.
Those 3 words from the legendary voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese. Hurts is in. The question is, for how long? Came in the third quarter, lost to the Packers, and do you guys want to put your young starter in a place, second-round pick, in a spot where he would be making his first career start at home against a Saints team that has won 9 in a row and is the hottest team in the NFC? That would be an interesting spot to not put him in the third quarter after your starter is struggling, but put him in from snap one, moment one. Doug Peterson non-committal on his starter when the Saints come to Philly on Sunday.
Why is that always such a big deal when you go to play somebody? It's the opponent that they're playing. Why would you want to play him against the Saints? It doesn't matter. It's still a football team. It doesn't matter if it's the Saints or if it's the worst team. If it's the New York Jets, he's got to play.
But here's the argument from the fan perspective. You just heard that on 94 WIP, by the way. And that would simply be there's a crisis of confidence with the other guy. And the idea is if you put a young guy in and the Saints, who winners of 9 in a row, were coming at him, that might ruin his confidence if he doesn't play well from the start. Jay disagrees. The only reason I'm saying that is the other guy was pulled because he has lost all of his confidence.
Well, that's on him. That's his confidence. That's him in his makeup. Jalen Hurts has never, ever, as long as I've been knowing the kid, when he was in high school all through Alabama and at Oklahoma, he's never, ever displayed to me at all a lack of confidence. At all. Even when he lost the starting job to Tua, no confidence was shaken whatsoever. So it's just funny all the time when I hear people say that, though, Jay. No. Like, we don't want to start him against Pittsburgh on a short week because they're going to do this to him. Okay, they're going to try to do it to him. What if he was the starter at the beginning of the season? His first snap as a quarterback in the National Football League. Same thing. It's the same thing, Z.
My best experiences in life have been when I got thrown into the fire. Just throw me into the fire.
Yes.
You don't need to ease me into anything.
No.
Let me figure it out. I'll make my mistakes, but I much rather make my mistakes by feeling out and gaining that experience. Look, Jalen Hurts should be the starter, but everything that Doug Peterson has shown me over his time as a head coach, everything that he said about Carson Wentz will let me know that he probably won't be the starter, that he'll probably play a lot more, but I don't think Doug Peterson is just willing to let Carson Wentz lose the quote-unquote confidence that you said quarterbacks are so fragile with. I don't understand that. I don't know why Jalen Hurts isn't the starter, and I know you're going to say follow the money. It's always about following the money, but it has to get to a certain point where Doug Peterson needs to have a conversation with himself in the mirror and say, we have nothing to lose by just starting Jalen Hurts and letting him play a full game.
Well,
Let him play one full game and see what happens.
Last week before, I said that this would probably be right around now, the Green Bay game. See where Carson Wentz is at, where it goes. They made the decision to pull Carson Wentz. Now that you made the decision to pull Carson Wentz, what I would do is now I'm starting Jalen Hurts, and we're going to finish the season with Jalen Hurts. And I know it's a lot of money. Now we're going to have a quarterback competition next offseason and into the season during training camp. That's the way I would set it up. And I think Doug Peterson, I would be shocked if Doug Peterson goes back to Carson Wentz, because what you've now shown the team is that you do have a guy in Jalen Hurts that you have confidence in, because he's shown you some things, leading the charge. He was 5 of 12 for 100, a little bit over 100 yards, a touchdown, and a little bit of an interception. That's okay. We can fix that, but we got to give him time to be able to do it. And I think that's what you do. I think you start him this week against the Saints, and then you see where it goes from there. And come the offseason, there's an open quarterback competition.
I love this, Zubin, because I just want to see how Carson Wentz responds, right? Like, never lead a life of complacency. Like, don't be complacent. So if Carson Wentz is complacent, it's easy for Carson Wentz to say, you know what? I can sit here and I can quibble and I can complain, and Jalen Hurts got my spot. I got my money. I don't care. Then that's fine. You find out who Carson Wentz is. This is a good challenge for him. Let him respond. And there's going to be a time, I'm telling you, in the next couple of games, 4 or 5 weeks, where Jalen Hurts makes a mistake and Carson Wentz will find himself back on the field. If he does, if Doug Peterson actually goes to Jalen Hurts, which I don't think he will. So make the most of it. Let's compete.
Yeah, and what you can't do to the rest of the team is you can't play the Carson Wentz game. I'm going to start him, then I'm going to yank him out again. I'm going to start him, I'm going to yank him out again, because the team feels right now, and they feel like we had a better chance to win with Jalen Hurts for 4 quarters. Look what he did in a short period of time, an amount of time that we gave him. He showed up. I mean, he really did. He did some good stuff, running the ball, changing some plays at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's got some work, but a full week of practice and preparation with the ones and not necessarily rotating snaps, but taking the majority of snaps will certainly get the attention of the rest of the team.
It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Real quick, straight to the point. This question asked pointedly to Carson Wentz.
Do you think you should be the starter?
Listen, that's not for me. I know what I'm capable of. I know I can play better. I never have doubted myself or lost my confidence in my abilities. But, like I said, a lot of these things are outside of my control.
See, that's the first thing I would have said is I am the starter until somebody tells me something different. That's what I would have said.
Well, let me ask you this. By the way, Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise there for Wentz, straight to the point. Let me ask you this. Doug Peterson said a couple of weeks ago, the reason I can't move Wentz for Hurts is because it would be sending, quote unquote, the wrong message to the team. But isn't sending the right message if you're massively struggling at the most important position on the field? I can't keep you out there.
But that was a couple weeks ago, Z. Yesterday, he pulled him. What's the difference in the message? If you're Doug Peterson, you're saying it's going to send the wrong message. I can't. You just did by pulling him. You sent the message by pulling him, which kind of gave them a little bit of a spark and a little bit of an engine where players are now looking, they going, oh, okay, we getting ready to roll now. We getting ready to get this taken care of. Where if you'd have left Carson Wentz in there in the third quarter, y'all wouldn't have had a chance to win. You got to run out of the building.
My biggest takeaway yesterday watching the Eagles was saying, oh, okay, you guys are conceding to rebuilding. This is where we're going. We're going in the rebuilding direction.
I don't know if they're going to rebuild, though. Off-season.
I mean, yeah.
Challenge in the offseason and see if they can
retool, whatever you want to call it.
You know, because it's a lot of money still. You got to remember, it's a lot of money. We can't just walk away from it.
No, man.
It'll be a fascinating offseason if it's Wentz v. Hurts. Wentz, 38 yards passing at the half yesterday. The week before, 30 yards passing at the half. That simply just can't continue. Still to come, the Jets brought the house.
The Jets.
And then the house burned down. That's after Key has this from my favorite beverage any time of day.
You're cheating on the beverage today, though. I won't mention the other name.
That's true.
The college football season is rolling along, and so is the latest season of